Well, well, well. We are a little late today to the party, but we are here at the party. All right. So today, I thought for fun. Hold on. I need that mic that comes up on top. I used to have that actually. I wonder where I put that. I put that somewhere. So we are going to go. We're going to switch. And we're going to go to YouTube Studio, which should be on anyway. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I just want to make sure that it's on. I think it's saying that I'm live, so it works. Yay! There I am. To YouTube but Studio. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute, which should be on any. There we go. So that's muted. That's pretty good. And we are just going to leave on all this stuff. So I don't think even anybody's here yet. All right. So we are going to get started because we got started a little bit late. It's been quite an interesting week. And honestly, I almost didn't make it today. But I have made a commitment. I decided. So what? This is week. I said I was going to do 6 more weeks. So 5 more weeks after today, right? Because last week was 6 that we were going to do, I think. Somebody's going to have to keep me honest. So I was thinking that we could go back to the podcast all the way back to the beginning. And I remember when I launched it. Because Bendito, I was so scared. I was, let me mute this tab too. Oh, no, it's already muted. It is already muted. And let's see. There's some people. I need to figure out how to get people to come into the live without me having to send individual messages. So if anybody knows how to get this done, mind you, I am scheduling these in advance on the platform. So I'm not sure if it's just not getting through, or I don't know if it's just going to take a hot minute while people learn that I'm going to be live for the next, X amount of time on YouTube Live. So I'm actually taking availability, basically, tips and tricks on how to do that because I'm trying to figure all that out. So, oh my God, look at that. I missed a call. So I figured that we would start from the beginning. And I figured that we would listen to the very first episode of the Orisha Wisdom podcast. I remember how that went. And I remember how scared I was on how it was going to be received in the community, how it was just going to go. I had no idea. And it was scary. I remember that it was totally scary because it's new and we just didn't know how things were going to go. Okay. So you do get, okay, so I guess that people need to click on the little bell in order for them to get the notifications. So, okay, I see. Because I've been sending individual messages and it's a pain. It's a pain. And I put it and I post it, but it's a pain. So with that, so that we will just party hardy today, I'm going to open this up. let's start with the very first episode. You guys ready? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. All right. Let's get ready to rock and roll. I think it's this one.
This is the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, Session 1. Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where positivity and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey with the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha. I am your host, Iya Omileti Olubumi. Welcome to the first episode of the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. I am super excited to be here. Really, I am. You should see me. I am super smiling right now. Because this is the first episode, I will introduce myself, say a little bit about me so that you can get to know me, introduce this podcast and what it's going to be about, and talk about a fun topic that has come up year after year, which is priests are people too. So let's get started. I have been in these traditions for a total of 26 years. 26! I had to take out the calculator to make sure that the number was correct. 21 of those years, I was either an alejo, which is a very, very new person in our traditions, or an aborisha, which is a person who follows this faith, a believer, a practitioner, without initiation. That took a little bit. But 5 years ago marked my first year as a priestess of Yemonja, Yemaya, and I am super excited to be growing in my journey spiritually. And I'm excited to share this podcast with you. So the goals of the Orisha Wisdom Podcast is to inspire, to fill with positivity, because finding these paths can be a little hard when you're the only one who's talking about Orishas and everybody else is talking about another religion. It can be a little difficult. So I want to be able to bring positivity and also education, as well as empowerment. Because if you have more knowledge, you can maneuver, and if you know better, you do better. When you come into these traditions, it might be from somebody who invited you to a reading so that it can improve your life. It could be that you attended a drumming. It could be that you know someone who introduced you and something piqued your interest. And then you find out that this person is a priest of Oshun, Chango, Elegua, and the list continues. And you're like, what is that? Until it opens up your mind that, whoa, you mean they're initiated? Wow. And when you first start, there's very few people that I have met that tell me about the beginning of their journey that they were not starstruck. I was very starstruck. I remember when I went to an event, someone told me, oh, this person has 20 years in Ocha. And I really couldn't help myself. I said, ooh, literally little stars were in my eyes. Because
I know I'm not alone in that one.
They were like gods on earth walking a holy path with the Dalai Lama and Buddha and all of them. And they were just angelic beings because they were priests. And as time goes on, I realized priests are people too. It's almost a letdown, but it's very funny at the same time. I'll tell you a story. I'm married to a priest. And I love hearing when he tells the story. He said he was at a supermarket and somebody walked up to him really puzzled and said, Baba, what are you doing here? He's like, what do you mean? Why are you here shopping? And he said, well, I have to eat. So if I do not buy food, I cannot eat. He's like, but Baba, you're Baba. You're not supposed to do that. And it was such a funny interaction. He said, you know what? I have to eat. And if I do not buy the food, I cannot eat it. And guess what? If I eat the food, I also need to use the restroom. And his eyes were like, oh, like you use the bathroom? He didn't say that, but the expression was there.
Actually, now that I am not on the podcast, I can tell you what the story was. The story was, and I also take a shit and I take a dump. And this was at a supermarket, and he said that flat-faced. I wasn't there for that, so we're just going to have to take it as is, grain of salt, whatever the hell. But the story is funny that people have this ideology that priests are these supreme beings sometime, and that's not how that goes. So the story goes that they're like, yeah, and I have to also take a shit. And people are like, what? Yeah, I do go to the bathroom. And there was another one. And I also have sex. And they're like, oh. So it was quite shocking. But it was, I think it's a good example, even though I'm not with him anymore. It's a good example on how sometimes people place priests on such a weird pedestal that it's really weird. Really, really weird. All right.
And the next one was, you know, I have children.
Oh,
you know, I had to have sex before having those children. His eyes at this point were going to pop out of his face. It was very, very comical. But I'm bringing you this funny story, not only to make you laugh, which I'm hoping you at least chuckled a little bit, but to let you know that priests, they started out in the same shoes that a brand new person did. They didn't know anything, or they were born into it, but at some point they still had to go through certain steps to become a priest or a priestess. So just for the sake of this podcast, I'm just going to say priest. So in order to become a priest, they still had to go through certain steps. But at the end of the day, they're not gods walking on earth. They're priests. They are representatives of the Orisha that they serve. That is very important because some people really get confused that because they are an Orisha priest, that they can do all kinds of things or they could get away with murder. And that is not so. A priest still has to adhere to the moral values because you're representing your Orisha. You are an example to the community. But they're people. They have quirks. They have either a sense of humor or they don't have a sense of humor. They're very, very intense, or they're very lighthearted because there's still a human being underneath there that we still have to understand that they're human. I say this because sometimes if something is done by a priest, it's taken so literally. It's taken so to heart. And sometimes in a positive way or in a negative way. But they're people. We have to understand that they also have feelings. They are going through their own challenges. They may just have had a fight with their wife or their husband. They may have, their dog may have just done an accident in the house right before an event, and that's why they have a sour face. They're people. They go through challenges. They either have jobs or they have their businesses, but they still have challenges. They still need to pay their rents and their mortgages. They're just like you and I. They bleed. They cry or not cry. They get sad. They get mad. They get happy. They have their relationships with their parents, their godparents, their children, their godchildren. They are also a sister or brother. They play same roles that every one of us plays. It's just that they have taken that oath to become a priest or a priestess. I feel that this is good to understand, especially for the newcomers on the traditions, because you may come across challenges when dealing with different priests. And if you keep in mind, priests are people too, then maybe we can be a little empathetic, a little bit understanding, and not so judgmental, maybe, not so hard on these individuals who are also trying to work on living the best version of themselves. At least we're hoping. That's the goal. But you may find that some people are unfortunately still in their growth and finding challenges in achieving their growth. And we still should understand that they are people too. We should understand that they may also be going through their spiritual challenges as well as the material challenges. And I don't mean material by money, but it could be physical, that materials, things that you can touch. So physical, it could be their health. There could be many, many things. They are just a human being. And we need to keep that in mind. I want to stress that when you meet these priests who have 10 years in Ocha, 25 years in Ocha, 45 years in Ocha, you may want to be starstruck on that. Don't. They're just people. It's just that they've been through this process longer than you. I wish somebody would have told me that early on, because I was really starstruck. And I just believed that everything that was said to me was just so holy. I really just kind of even heard little angels singing when they would speak, and butterflies flying and unicorns. I was just really starstruck. Once this starstruck, and maybe as the podcast continues, I'll definitely hope to share my experiences and other people's experiences. It's really grounding. It's wow. They're just like me. They really are. They go through these issues. You're able to kind of understand each other on a human level that just wasn't there before. Now they're not so high on a pedestal. They're not gods and goddesses, but they're, a lady who went through this process many years ago. And I want to learn what this lady knows, because this lady has been through it. And now it's not that I'm starstruck, but I respect, which will be a key element in the future for the new people of choosing your godparent. And for priests, this is probably something that they went through. Once they realize, oh, this person can teach me. Now it's not a high up pedestal thinking. It's more like, this is another individual who can guide me on my path. Priests are people too. They're just like you and me. This brings the end of the first episode of the Orisha Wisdom podcast. For the show notes, go to orishawisdom.com/podcast and you will get the show notes and any resources there. Definitely, while you are there, subscribe to our mailing list at orishawisdom.com. And I can't wait to see you until next time. Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.
First of all, that was really difficult to hear because the audio was so bad. Bendito. I remember I had that mic right there, which is still one of my favorite mics. It was very sentimental to me. It's a Blue Yeti. And I remember I did this on my own with a free open program, and the audio was just so terrible. This sounds like so rich, but it took a minute. And I really want to know what you guys thought of this episode. As I was doing, this is a pretty short episode, and rightfully so. This was just an intro to the podcast. Um, I wanted to give you some notes, but I know that there is a delay. So I am going to wait until you guys post whatever it is, your thoughts. I wrote, of course, priests are people too. I wrote, we tend to put on a pedestal. They are not untouchable. The priests, are not untouchable. I also, and it's funny because as soon as I was talking again about the little stars in my eyes, because I had them, a lot of us have had that, right? I wrote down, we need to pray to have the stars taken away from our eyes so that we can see the reality as it is. I literally wrote it down. See the reality as it is. I also wrote right underneath that I think it is important to keep the love for Orisha, but do not deify the priests. What do you think about that? Because I have been to events where, oh, that is Iya so and so. She's got 32 years of Ocha. Bow down, chick, bow down. Really? I mean, we are paying homage to the Orisha on her head. We get that. But it's almost like if she farted on you, it would be like a gift. And I'm like, really? Ew. But just saying, that was a bad example. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? Does this make sense to you? Another thing that I wrote down as the episode was going through, the boundaries that you put up to people must always be up until the lowering is earned. So it's like medieval castle, and you have the moat and the bridges up. And it's like whenever we see a priest approaching, like Gandalf, I come up with this crap. So you see Gandalf, and then you just put it down just because it looks like a Gandalf. Like, no, it could be anyone. And we need to be able to to have a little more discernment. However, in the beginning, I think that as a community, we need to understand that discernment pretty much goes out the freaking window. Unless you grew up in this, unless you are cautious by nature, and not everybody is. And even the people that I know are cautious by nature, cautious goes out the window. Like, caution is to the wind, to the whatever. It just doesn't work. Why? Because we're looking at a priest. We're looking at a priest. We're looking at somebody who made Ocha. They were in their year in white in 7 days. So they have Ifa, and they've been to Africa, and they trained under Baba Iya so-and-so. And oh my God, this is so amazing. And then all of our guards go down. I hear this clicking sound, pero yo no sé why it's clicking. I don't know if you hear it, but I hear it. It's annoying. Here's the thing. I find that as much as we talk about this, as much as we talk about how can I say it? As much as we talk about, please don't do this, it's like nobody's going to hear. It would be like a fairy coming down from the sky, and all the flutteries, and all the little sprinklers, sprinklies, and all the, ooh, it's almost like that. And I think, especially for brand new people, in the beginning, we can't expect anything less. Like, honestly, I understand it's got to be really rough. It's not easy in the beginning, especialmente in the beginning. What do you think about this? Let me know in the chat. I know a few of you are out there. And here's another thing that I wrote. Ready? Respect is earned, not given freely just because. And another thing, I know that I spoke about the emails. I need to do the Orisha Wisdom notes. I have to like sit down and work on the system that I have now, and on the website in order for like emails to come through. So I'm going to be working that. I promise, Orisha Wisdom notes. However, I want to go back to the castle. Whenever you see a Gandalf looking wizard, don't lower the bridge. Don't lower the stakes on the mountain. don't cover the crocodiles. Because sometimes the most painful of villains will come dressed as the most humble priests. And I am living proof of this. And I have spoken about openly on what this did. And when you get a scar like that, that's a scar that is not easily erased. That is a scar that when you get that, you are not going to be okay for a while, for a minute. So here is the thing that I have for you. I am truly hoping that you remember, no matter where you are, because I've known priests who have been around for a really long time, and they have forgotten, I don't know how else to put it, but they have forgotten that these are priests. They have forgotten that these are regular people. They have forgotten that these people have their challenges. And I remember in the beginning, every single priest that I saw was my potential godmother, godfather. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Like, could this be my godmother? Could this be my godfather? So I understand what we are saying. No, I get it. I just saw something on the chat. Out of respect, I still go to the floor. So do I. I'm not saying no. We're not going to hit the floor. Oh, did you know that I was told not to hit the floor? That is so interesting. That's an interesting story. Oh, I made some people mad, but I was told not to do that. And then that changed. Ya como son las cosas. Anyhow, I agree with Esteban. Esteban writes, Esteban Perez 4457 writes, out of respect, I still go to the floor. I believe to do the same. I didn't say for people not to do that. I just said don't place them on a pedestal. They're two different things. You're doing moforibale. That's okay. But moforibale is not the same as kissing ass. I know. It's a little rugged. I should straighten out my what I gotta do. I'm doing it. We're doing better on the technology. We're doing better. So what do you think about that? I mean, what I'm saying is it's different of giving the respect to that Orisha crown. I believe this. This I believe. Pero there's a difference between that and, oh, this priest just came in and they got 500 years in Ocha. I don't know how they're keeping so young and alive. It must be all the Botox. That's Orisha Botox. It's great. We love this. No matter what, they don't do wrong. That's what I'm talking about. It's like we place them in a pedestal that is beyond. And I stand by what I said on this full episode. We need to respect them, but we cannot deify them. And I think that that's the challenge because good job, baby. Because we tend to deify these priests in the beginning. And it is later that we find out that they have schmexed with their goddaughters. They sniff little white train powders at Ochas. They schmecks with other godchildren's like it's wild, and they do other types of drugs. So I think that we need to just have an understanding that these are people that come in also with their own challenges. They come in with their own earned, like things that they have to learn. And we tend to put them on a pedestal. And I know this because I did this, but I'm not the only one who has done this. Many people do this from the beginning. And like I said before, even when you've been in this for a while, oh, but that's Baba so and so. He's a great oriate, and meantime, he's a nasty MFer. So, who has no moral character, but he has a shit to do. I don't care what he knows. You understand what I mean? So, we have in our community, we have the good, the bad, the ugly as well. So I think that these chats are meant to not scare the brand new people or the aborishas or the new priests, but to kind of give perspective so that you could have better footing as you're moving forward. Make sense? So, what did you think of this one? This one is short. We're going to be done well within the hour. So it's all depending on what you guys want to comment in the comments. And first of all, I would like to thank each and every single one of you. You, and you. I want to thank you for sharing a little bit of your time with me. I do appreciate it. I think that I'm going to start getting better. So if all of you have done this, go to the little bell icon and hit that whenever I go live, you get notified. That way I don't have to do like a gazillion texts and messenger stuff. That would be so helpful for me. And if this continues, maybe we can do Thursdays at 7:30. But right now I think we're going to have 5 more to go for this round. And I thought that today would be lovely to start from the beginning. By the way, the sound was appalling. I'm looking at them like, oh, God, this is terrible. Pero I'm glad. You know what? The message went out, and I'm quite thankful. They tell me that I should do much better at promoting something. So I'm going to show you something. Give me a second. I'm going to show you maybe 2 something. Oh, sorry about that. They tell me that I need to do better at selling my things. And I'm like, it's cringeworthy. Do you know that I make posters? I'm going to show you one. I'm going to do my best to put this in front of the camera. This is 13 by 19. This is the original Odus one. The Odus names were not written, but I do have the emojis. That was nice. See? I think it's this way. Wait. I think it's this way. Yep. It's this way. Mira. Ahí está. So go to your spiritual things on Etsy and get your posters. Get your posters. Anyhow, I do appreciate all of your support. Oh, let's see. Hold on. I know Esteban writes, I know that things have changed due to the internet, but back in my day, it was not like that. The only way you learn is to be. No, I never said you don't learn around those priests. Still, we are in full agreement. That is the way to go. You do have to still be around those priests. I find this is even with the internet, I find that it's like, okay, I got it. Have you ever eaten like a type of candy that they spread and they smash? Not fudge, but they have those soft, those sugary, and in order for you to it's done in sheet, and then they usually smash it so that you could get into a little bag. That's what I feel like it is. It's really difficult to get all of it. So what I do is when I grab a shard of that candy knowledge, then I go to my godfather. Is this right? yeah, I agree with this. Esto se hacía así en, Puerto Rico and blah, blah, blah. And this is like my, godfather taught me and my godmother and blah, blah, blah. Perfecto. Perfecto. I find that the brand new people are in for an interesting awakening. And I wanted to say rude, but it's going to be an interesting one because they're going to figure out much, much later that there's different ways of doing things. This lineage does it one way, this lineage does it another way, this godparent functions this way, even in this lineage. And in order for you to be a good teacher, you have to be a very good what? Estudiante. And if you're not able to pay attention to your godparent, then how are you going to learn? And sometimes, even as I functioned for about almost 11 years, functioned as a priestess. We're talking going to the river, being an ajubona, doing rogations, doing ebos, assisting, all that shit. I did all that shit. Now, good shit. Now that I'm back to being an aborisha, it's really nice to say, you know what? I don't know if this is how Baba does it. I'm going to ask him. And this gives me a way to, I don't have to do nothing until he says so. So I'm able to go back because I understand the importance of doing things the way my godparents are teaching me to do it and the why. I'm able to ask very difficult questions. However, I am not a brand new alejo. So coming into this, they don't treat me like an alejo or a brand new aborisha, even though I am an aborisha now. Does that make sense? Because I'm like, mira, Baba, why do you do this before this, this, and that? I mean, I caught this, I caught that, I caught the other. The dogs are going crazy. Anyway, um, what happened? Okay, they ate his pizza. Make another one. And please close the door. Sorry about that. The dogs ate my son's pizza. He's furious. He left the door open. They ran. They literally ate his pizza. I feel so bad. Ay bendito. Okay. All right, let's go. Da-da-da-da. What I understand is that we always have to remember under the crown that we're only human. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But it's difficult. And I find that a lot of them begin with that I'm humble and I'm only here to help and I'm only a conduit, but it twists sometimes into something else. I think it's us to have better discernment into, is this person really being humble? Is this person really walking that path? Is this person really heavy wapele? I think that in the beginning, that's something that a brand new person is going to have difficulty understanding and walking through. My viejos were evil, but they knew a world and their ache was much better than mine. I clean floors, house animals, etc. just to have the I understand that. I get all that. But I find that sometimes we deify the priests. And I think that this is the challenge that we're having, that we literally almost like make them into mini gods, and they're not. Their shit don't stink. They never have bad breath. Their feet never stink. They're humans. And we tend to deify them in our traditions. Like, oh, yes, so-and-so just walked in. And it's almost like they glide in our minds. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we need to bring them back to where they are, which is to earth, so that we have a better understanding that they're humans, just like me. That they have quirks, just like me. That they get lost on the internet, just like me. So I don't know. What did you think about this? And I think a lot of us here I see are priests, so it's a little bit different than for people who are. Uh-oh. We're very upset. They ate his pizza. He made a pizza. Anyhow, I really hope that we can think about it, especially for those of us who are in positions of power, making sure that your godparents, ajubonas, babalaos, awos, oriates, those people, I think we need to keep reminding the brand new people that are walking in, para que la venda de los ojos se quite, because I had it. And that way you can help to remove that little bloop off their eyes so that they can see the world as is. Oh my God, you don't know. He made a pizza with a flatbread, and, we had chicken, and he put, oh yeah, we're not happy. He put pizza sauce. We have mozzarella. He did that on the air fryer. He came and showed it to me while I was on the live, and all I hear is screaming and the dog's running, and I'm like, oh shit, Dave, my pizza. I'm like, oh God. Anyway, I think what you're saying is that we must maintain ourselves awake to reality of their defects as humans while respecting their crown. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. The only thing that is different from them to you, if you're not crowned, is that they have a crown. But they're still, going to go to the bathroom. Their crap is going to stink. If they don't take a shower, their armpits are going to stink. They're going to have other bad things and other bad qualities. They're still human. They're still working on themselves. So I think that for brand new people, it is really, 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 really hard to make that difference because, Baba so-and-so. Oh my God. Baba said that. He's human. She's human. And I think we forget that. We really do need to get that benda, that bandage off our eyeballs. I know. I tend to have permanent rose glasses on, and that bad. That be very bad. So, what did you guys think? I think this is good, but again, a lot of us that I'm looking at the comments, we are priests. We get that. But whenever we're talking to brand new people, I think we need to keep that. They're probably looking at you guys that way. That's number one. Two, they're probably going to look at other priests that way. You know what I mean? So, yes, clean the floors. I do. I believe that. And yes, the pizza. I think we're good on comments. So, guys, this has been a lot of fun. And honestly, I never thought I would hear these episodes again. I just thought it was going to be like said and done and that was it. But I think it is good to go back, especially since there may be things I need to rescind. And hold on a second. I'm going to put this in the comments. I really do. I need that mic thing. I used to have one, but this mic is heavy. I am going to put online. Okay, perfecto. I'm going to go online for you guys. Here is my Etsy shop. There's some cool stuff in there. There's posters, there's cards, there are stickers. You know what? I was thinking about placing, this is a big ass sticker. I was thinking for using that for like the back of my laptop. I thought it was cute as all hell. I might still do it. I don't know. Let me think about it. But anyhow, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. I think I had a really good time tonight, and it was kind of interesting. And the technology worked really, really well. I know. The veggies are so cute. Look at that. That was from last year's calendar. You know that? Let me see. Let me put it back so you can see it. They're so cute. They were so cute. Anyhow, All right, everybody. So listen, this worked. It's well under the hour. I'm super, super thrilled, and I'm happy that you all came to hang out with me today. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your time. And if you haven't done so already, just click on the little bell icon for notifications for my lives. And that way, that would save me so much trouble. I think I'm going to have to start posting. Like, go to YouTube and click on the little bell icon. I'm not going to be sending messages because it's crazy. But I love having you all here. All right, everybody. So I will talk to Jews later. We're going to do this again next week. Again, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming again. And mwah, love you.